Hello again. This is for your lesson on the parable of the mina. Our last lesson was on the parable of the talents, and this one is extremely similar, but there are some differences. And so today, instead of me talking through it again, I'm going to let you work through it yourself and answer some of these questions. There is a video that I will link that you can watch the video. You need to start it at 1 minute and 20 seconds is the parable that we're studying today. I guess you can watch the whole thing. The beginning is about Zacchaeus, which hopefully we'll be hitting the story of Zacchaeus soon, which you're all familiar with that, but there's still much to learn in that. The parable of the mina will be, it's found in Luke 19:11 through 27. And so just work through these questions. Verse 12, what is happening? This parable is different in how it begins and the context of it, the events of it. Verse 13, look at how many servants and how much money is given to them and what is the command that he gives them. Verse 14 has to do with the opening of the parable, what the king is about to go do, and then 14, how do the people feel about this? This question 4 would be one you have to kind of think about, and I'll give you the answer hopefully soon. Who do you think these people represent? If you think about our lessons in Jesus and the people he encounters, who are the people that Jesus encounters that have this result about him? And then when the king returns, he engages the servants. What is the result of the first and the second and the third? And why does the third take this action? How does the master respond? And what happens, very last verse, to the enemies, the people that he mentions in verse 4. And then I want you to compare this with the parable of the talents. How is it similar? A lot of similarities. And so think about each of the similarities. You might want to return to your notes or to Matthew 25. I believe yesterday I listed it as Matthew 24, so that was my mistake. It's actually in Matthew 25. If you were watching the text carefully, you saw that. As I rewatched it, I realized I had written it wrongly. So it's Matthew 25:14. And then how is it different? List the differences, list the similarities. And then what is the main point of each? Is the main point similar or is it different? Maybe there's a little bit of both. And so work through this and continue to think about the point that Jesus is wanting us to reflect on and think about as we think about his return. What does this have to do with Jesus leaving and then returning one day? What is he desiring? What is he asking? And why does he tell this story? So think about those things and work through these on your own. Again, you can watch it or you can read it. Just write these things in your notes and keep up with it. This will be our last parable that we talk about. I'm trying to come up with an idea. I'm thinking about doing a short, simple project with allowing you to choose one of the parables to kind of come up with a creative idea to show that. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. And then we'll have a test on these probably next Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and review your notes and try and start thinking through, making sure you know the details and the points of these things, when Jesus told them, why he told it, and what was he trying to communicate to his followers as he told these stories. So hopefully you're continuing to work on your memory verse. I encourage you every day to review through the passage, review through the summaries, so that you might take those things at the end of the year. They would be embedded in your heart and in your mind. Ask somebody to listen to you and try and say the passage, see how far you've gotten in it. And so my idea at the end of the term, we have 4 more weeks, is that I would ask your parent to check you on your memory passage and assign you a grade based on how well you do and how you're reciting it to them or you're writing it out for them. And so I do want you to learn. Hopefully you'll be motivated to learn it anyway. Some of you might need a little push for a grade. And so that's my idea on testing you, is that I'll have to enlist your parents or someone to help me with that. So I'm praying for you. I know many of you are still concerned. Obviously, we all are concerned about the coronavirus and our safety. It looks like very few people are actually getting it. And in our city, our county, there are very few people that are being hospitalized as a result of it. And so That's great. We're thankful that God is protecting so much of our population. But we do want to continue to pray for our wisdom of our city leaders and government officials, wisdom for our families as we're together in these uncertain times, that we will respond in faith and love and look around for opportunities. What would God have you to do with your time? I'm trying to think about that with all the choices of things that we get to do, because we have a lot more free time. What is God's will? What does He want us to invest our time in, and how can we use it for His kingdom? So I'll pray for you, and you continue to pray for us, and we'll talk more tomorrow.